There is a CRA protester who calls himself an urban terrorist who used those charges against a bank, harassed them for 4 years, went to a speech of the president of the bank at Harvard University, disrupted the speech, made this man's life miserable for 4 long years. Someone who graduates from college, goes to graduate school, goes to work for the Federal Reserve Bank in acquisitions and mergers, quits, goes into business, spends 4 years harassing a bank and a bank's president. Finally, the bank craters and gives them $1.4 million, gives them $200,000 to set up their organization. They now got 20 offices, lending $3.5 billion.
The lack of decent, affordable housing has a devastating effect on working families, and we take that seriously. When a family lives in substandard housing and has no heat, no hot water, and has fire hazards, we take that personally. When a family pays exorbitant rent and has to work 2 or 3 jobs just to survive, we take that personally.
We work in the city, and we should have a right to live in the city in affordable housing, in decent housing. We're strong enough to win, strong enough to challenge the law, strong enough to change a stupid law that says we have no right to negotiate what's good for our family. We have to stand up for each other. So we're going to challenge them at the negotiating table. We're going to challenge them in the hotels. We're going to change the law. We're going to show people we are going to start something that is going to go to other unions, other institutions.
There are millions of hardworking men and women all across this country that might not know what Local 26 is, but will know what Local 26 is. And what we'll be able to do, those families will be able to do, is to be able to have a home of their own, hopefully. And it's because of all of you.
Hear us clearly. We are union. We are Local 26. We are that fighting and winning. We want housing in the city. And by a sacred sense of justice, by simple morality, you hotel owners and you managers, for decency's sake, are obligated to be partners with this union in building decent and affordable housing. We want no less than what you expect out of life. You want nothing different. You want nothing less. You are Local 26. Stand up and be strong. Be a strike to their front door, to their bell. Guess who's coming to dinner?
We're staying here to meet with.
No, you're not staying here to meet with.
Well, then you're going to have to arrest us.
It's a matter of interest, literally a matter of interest, that's moved the Attorney General of the state of Georgia to begin a major investigation into Fleet Finance, the highly profitable subsidiary of Fleet, the 14th largest bank holding company in the country. What the Attorney General may be discovering is something that thousands of unhappy Georgia borrowers have known for a long time, that if you're poor and desperate, there's a very good chance you'll end up at the sign of the friendly sales. You can't miss them, they're everywhere, not just in Georgia, but throughout New England, in 40 states. These sales may be sales of hope for depositors, but in Georgia, where Fleet Finance is based, more than 20,000 borrowers think those sales look more like fins, the fins of loan sharks. Craig Soares has a mortgage with Fleet.
You don't miss a Fleet payment. Everyone will tell you that.
What happens?
Just start packing your boxes. Bottom line, pack your boxes. Everyone will tell you that. Even the brokers will tell you, now I'm getting you this deal, but don't be late.
They didn't want your money, they wanted your house.
They wanted our houses.
Fleet Finance deals in home equity loans, loans in which a house is put up as collateral. The borrower may want the money for repairs or simply to pay off other debts. Fleet's interest rates in neighborhoods like this are way above the going rate because the borrowers are considered high risk, unable to get loans from traditional banks. And yet many of the borrowers have a lot of equity in these homes. Whatever outstanding debt there is quite small. Fleet's position has been described generally as no lose. If the homeowner pays on time, Fleet benefits from the high interest. If he doesn't and Fleet forecloses, Fleet buys the house at the foreclosure sale and resells it, often at a tidy profit.
And I have named them the vulture of the mortgage world.
Craig Soares and his wife were desperate when they got a $78,000 loan at a whopping 20.99% interest. What was the general mortgage rate?
8.5. 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah, prime rate was 8.5.
That was the prime rate. The general mortgage rate was 9.25, compared to the 20.99% Soares was paying.
Is either take this or hit the door.
In fact, in most of its home equity business in Georgia, Fleet itself did not make the original loans. It purchased the loans from other lenders, small companies with names like Mortgage Makers, Tower Financial Services, Georgia Mortgage, and Parkway. It's alleged that these companies existed primarily to service Fleet. Borrowers had no idea when they got the money that within days, or even hours, they'd become clients of Fleet. By the late 80s, Fleet had become the godfather of the secondary mortgage market.
They prey on the emotions, they prey on the desperation, and they prey on the ignorance.
Randolph Wright's is a fairly typical story. This house had been in his family for more than 20 years. He had $37,000 in equity in the house when he got a loan with Fleet at 22% interest. He fell behind and Fleet foreclosed, bought his house, and then sold it at a profit. Randolph lost the house, all of his equity, and now rents from the new owners. Randolph, his two brothers, and his mother have all had problems with Fleet. His brother Willie doesn't think this is a coincidence.
I just think they just target certain people. And I just think we just happen to be of all the same kind of people that they primarily target.
To stress again the relationship of this hearing to the larger and pervasive problem of an inadequate flow of credit to low-income communities on fair terms and without discrimination. Now, this is a major problem in this country, and it has to be dealt with directly. As I say, this is one of several hearings in which we're doing it, but I am determined that we will face and solve that problem. Racial discrimination and a denial of credit to people who are creditworthy in this country because they are being excluded from the system, either on racial grounds or geographic grounds or because they're in certain neighborhoods, is absolutely un-American. And it's got to come to an end, and I'm determined to see that it come to an end.
Today's hearing obviously focuses in on a situation that is evil, that is pernicious, that is unlawful.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, that this type of conduct is unconscionable at best.
Irresponsible lenders.
But on the whole, there really were substantial abuses within the industry which wound up causing people to lose their homes for no legitimate reason.
It is a wake-up call to Congress.
This nationwide battle took 4.5 years. It included demonstrations and confrontation wherever Fleet was active. We won the war.
It is welcome news for us that it's decided to embark on this program to commit $8 billion for community lending.
We believe Fleet in City, by making credit available to families who have had the toughest time getting credit, will do more for those families than anything else we could offer.
Come on, roll it in. You have a right to be here.
They're angry Fleet Bank customers on a mission, and security officers aren't going to stop them.
Today is tax day within New England. We're protesting the fleet tax on working people.
For years, banks have refused to give mortgages to people who live in the inner city or in so-called high-risk neighborhoods. But now a consumer group called Union Neighborhood Assistance Corporation, or UNAC, is working with several banks to knock down barriers, giving first-time home buyers a break.
Thank you for being there.
Leela Mae Laney today got a break. Bank Boston gave her a new mortgage so she can keep her home.
I feel great. I feel that God have done what man said couldn't be done.
Miss Laney lived in this modest house for more than 20 years, but earlier this year she lost it in a mortgage scam. Her mortgage company foreclosed and was ready to sell it on the steps of the courthouse when Bank Boston stepped in, living up to its saying, people helping people.
We're hoping to help a lot of folks, less fortunate folks who to buy new homes, and also those who are being threatened to be kicked out on the streets. We're hoping to keep them in their homes.
The bank is working with Union Neighborhood Assistance Corporation, a consumer group that does the screening. UNAC says every effort to save someone's house is personal.
It's personal when a Ms. Laney, an elderly woman, is thrown out on the street or about to be. That's personal.
UNAC stepped in and helped Leela Mae Laney, and she says not a moment too soon.
As we come here, one thing that we're going to hear Barnett say in response, and I want everybody to hear this. Barnett is going to say that reports on us in '93 said we did a pretty good job. But you know that at a deeper level that they did not. And the issue is not what Barnett did in '93. The issue is what did Barnett do in '92, in '91, in 1990, in 1989, in 1988.
That's right. 87.
Went out from you, and I was just talking to Brother Wiggins out there, who runs one of the largest car dealerships around here. Comes to here with his balance sheets in order, but always gets lost. All right. That's not only his story. That's the story of other folks. So what we have here is a warrant.
All right.
And Charles Newman, Chief Financial Officer, and other officers for crimes against the working people of Florida. The above named persons have been charged with destabilizing our neighborhoods by unfair and discriminatory lending practices. And I'm going to ask that some of our brother preachers and some of you put your signatures on this and let them know that it comes to them, and it comes to them with power.
Now, this is really signed by whom? Us!
Yeah.
All right.
Brother pastors, come on up here.
Pastors, come on, put your signature on here.
For some people, the American dream of owning a home is just that, a dream. They often find obtaining a loan impossible. But there is a new nonprofit organization in town that hopes to make the dream of home ownership a reality by driving its message home.
Amen. Double standards have existed among the banking institutions of Jacksonville.
Tom Diamond is angry with what he says are unfair lending practices at banks around Jacksonville. That's why he and hundreds of other angry protesters gathered on the steps of Barnett Bank. The group chanted songs, carried signs, and donned gold T-shirts demanding change.
To be fair with single women, heads of households, they got families.
Before the rally, over 1,000 people gathered at the Abyssinia Baptist Church on the north side. The group is celebrating the arrival of what they say is an answer to their prayers. The Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, or NACA. The group says it works for changes in lending, such as home loans with no down payment and no closing costs.
There's so many people, so many single parents, so many low-income families that can't, they're paying rent now, and they could be paying a mortgage and owning something, having a home.
The group says it's a grassroots organization that uses persistence to force banks to change their lending practices. In Jacksonville, the bank they've targeted is Barnett.
We believe in confrontation. We believe in being at the banks wherever they go. We go to the analyst meetings. We go to their annual meetings. We go to where they make presentations. And we have a long attention span. We are the junkyard dogs out there. When once we grab on, we never let go.
Barnett Bank officials say NACA never approached them about their lending practices and knew nothing about this rally. They also issued this statement. Barnett has a strong record of making loans in low and moderate income communities. Statewide, Barnett made more home loans to African Americans last year than any other lender. And after the rally, the protesters signed a warrant and taped it to the door of Barnett Bank downtown. They also blocked off one of the entrances with police crime scene tape.
A protest is planned tomorrow against one of Charlotte's biggest banks, First Union. Stockholders will be voting on a merger with First Fidelity, but a self-proclaimed banking terrorist plans to protest tomorrow's vote peacefully.
They don't respect working people because they want to lend to their own. Fast Eddie Crutchfield, he's busy doing investment banking.
We have over $5 billion as relates to lending to low to moderate income individuals that include minorities across the board.
They have 9 banks. 8 of the banks got the lowest rating. The only one that got above satisfactory rating is the one here in Charlotte, and that we think is wrong.
From all our research that we've done, it shows that they do not do any fair lending as far as lending to minorities and lending to low-income or medium-income families.
First Union doesn't even get to the first step. They are the invisible bank to working people.
Prime Time. Now from Los Angeles, Diane Sawyer.
Good evening. Take a quick look around any American parking lot, and it's no surprise that the Ford Motor Company is the nation's second largest car manufacturer. But you may not know that making cars and trucks is not Ford's most profitable business. It's making loans, and not just car loans. And we've been hearing about some problems, so we asked Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace to investigate. Chris?
Diane, Henry Ford said his goal was to put America on wheels, to build a car for the great multitude. But when it comes to Ford's financial operation, we found a lot of customers who have been driven into debt. Ford makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year from personal and home equity loans. What they also have to show for it are allegations of forgery, kickbacks, and loans that people can never pay off. Philip White was moving up in Ford's financial empire. In less than 2 years, he'd made assistant manager in one of their Alabama offices, until his father took him aside.
He asked me one day, how can you look at yourself in the mirror when you know what you've done to these people?
White says he kept thinking about his father's question. A few months later, he quit.
I just got sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of the pressure and the just lying to people.
They have ripped off our community. They have stolen the wealth out of our neighborhoods.
A lot of people are getting fed up with Ford. In Atlanta, thousands packed a church to bear witness against the way they say Ford does business.
That's Ford Motor Company who has a better idea.
In Boston, some 60,000 people are part of a nationwide lawsuit, charging that Ford pays kickbacks to brokers who steer customers into more expensive loans. Ford says they just pay brokers for their services.
They eat you up and they spit you out.
This man is also going after Ford, Bruce Marks, a community activist who has pressured corporations to make available more than $1 billion in low-cost mortgages. He says Ford is no different than a loan shark.
Ford is a loan shark? Ford is absolutely a loan shark.
usury and exorbitant interest rates, very high fees, very aggressive collection practices, and a loan that you never get out from under. That's a loan shark by definition. That's what Ford does, and they're the largest ones.
But perhaps the worst things we heard about how Ford treats its customers came from inside the company, from former employees like Philip White.
Somebody would walk out with a $40,000 real estate loan at a 15% interest rate, paying 5 points. With insurance on it, we'd say, what a sucker. Cha-ching. We just made the company some money.
The company's first quarter earnings more than doubled over the first quarter last year. We reported earnings of $1.5 billion compared to $653 million for the first quarter of 1996.
That was the good news at what should have been a triumphant Ford annual meeting in Windsor. Cars and trucks are what put Ford's name on the world map, but the home loan activities of Ford financial subsidiary, the Associates, documented recently on ABC's Prime Time, shifted the focus. Activist Reverend Ellis Hagler of Washington, D.C. even crashed Trotman's post-meeting press conference.
We have said we'll look at new material.
Do not castigate people because they're people of color. Do not castigate them because they're poor, working class. Do not do that.
Who invited you in?
At issue is whether the Associates is using high-pressure tactics to sell loans at extremely high interest rates.
I was told they never got it, and the loan went through, and I ended up losing the house. So I've been living in an apartment since. I'm a widow. You know, I feel like I'm too old to start again, and I've worked very hard all my life, and I just feel terrible losing our family home.
My interest rate went from 12% to 14.66%. On a $77,000 note, I am paying $150,000 in interest.
Trotman says Ford will deal with documented cases of questionable practices, but says he doubts an audit currently underway will find widespread abuse.
I mean, we have nothing to apologize for. We are running a very fine business with a high level of customer satisfaction, so I don't think that the kind of activity that we've heard of today will deter us one bit.
This is the news station, Fox 4 News at 5.
A last-minute deal stops a threatened protest against a local loan company.
And now the lenders are pledging millions of dollars to an affordable housing group. On Your Side reporter Carla Winfrey joins us with more. Carla.
Homeowners say they came to the Associates' annual meeting to gripe about what they call high interest rates and confusing terms. They left with news of a home equity program that will help some borrowers.
Actually, filed everything Friday.
Donnell Higgins came to help Texas homeowners. The California man was part of the class action suit filed against the Associates. He was suing the lender because the terms and rates of his loan changed, adding $400 to his monthly mortgage.
Put me in the hole. The time I was late for my payment. I worked a lot of overtime.
Higgins came here to be part of a protest against the Associates. Instead, he found himself sitting at the table with the CEO of the Associates and the head of a housing advocacy group.
Never thought that I would be sitting next to you and working in partnership, but we're thrilled to be here.
Throughout the country, NACA, the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, has accused lenders of exploiting borrowers. The latest target, Dallas-based consumer finance company, the Associates.
Unfortunately, when you lend money, not everybody is happy, particularly those people that don't pay you back. And in our case, that's a minimum number of people.
Now, instead of protesting, the two sides have cut a deal. The plan includes a mortgage reduction program. It will allow borrowers who pay on time to reduce their interest rates, cutting up to 2.25 percentage points in 3 years.
That means that for a typical customer, that customer is going to be able to save on a 10-year loan $25,000.
The Associates also pledged $100 million to NACA's lending program. The money will be used to help families obtain loans with no down payment, no fees, and closing costs, with rates as low as 6%.
We think this is a good time to get together with NACA, and we have always admired their objectives as an organization. We would probably differ a little bit on the tactical level.
But apparently those tactics have worked for both sides. NACA gets a boost, and Higgins' class action suit is settled.
It helps me and everybody else.
Donnell Higgins' short-lived lawsuit resulted in his interest rate dropping from 11.5% to 6% and an undisclosed settlement. The mortgage reduction program will start July 1st. New and existing customers can participate. Carla Winfrey, Fox 4 News.
From WFAA-TV, Channel 8, the spirit of Texas, this is News 8 at 6.
Home ownership may become much more affordable for many as a result of a new loan program announced today by a Dallas company. Associates First Capital plans a mortgage reduction program. Now, it will allow low and moderate income customers to earn a lower interest rate once they make 12 consecutive monthly payments. Associates is the largest home equity lender in the country. The program was announced after the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, headed by Craig Marks, charged the company with forcing customers to buy credit life insurance and refinance their loans. The Associates denies those charges while committing $100 million to the new program.
We have had ongoing conversations with Mr. Marks and his group for more than 2 years. And he came to us at a time with a program that made sense for us, it made sense as a business proposition for us.
Now live, this is NBC5, the Texas News Channel.
Major deal has been made this evening to help people with credit problems buy a home. The Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America and the Associates, that's an Irving-based lender, today agreed to a plan to help people with bad credit get a mortgage.
Even if they lost their home, that both NAC and the Associates are going to work with them to see whether there's a way that they can be made whole.
We think this is going to be a good example for how you can approach the business and be responsive to customers.
The Associates has been under fire for some of its policies regarding people with bad credit. The Neighborhood Assistance Corporation will now get $100 million from the Associates to help that category of borrowers.
My name is Bruce Marks. I am the CEO of NACA. And on my right is Darnell Higgins. He is an Associates customer who is here to represent the Associates customers that are being working with Associates to deal with some of the issues that we talked about. Francis Epps is the Housing Services Director for the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. And I'm pleased to be here with Keith Hughes, who, as you know, is the CEO for the Associates. Never thought that I would be sitting next to you and working in partnership, but we're thrilled to be here. So if I can go through why we're here, and then Keith Hughes can talk about some aspects of the program as well. But it's an exciting day. It's a really exciting day because the subprime industry was really developed to help people who had a short-term financial difficulty get through that short-term financial difficulty and then be able to get on their feet. Well, over time, this subprime industry has really become corrupted in the sense that once you get involved, you never get out from under. And it's become a $300 billion industry that has become problematic for really working people throughout the country. So what we have an opportunity here to do, what we have an opportunity here today to do, is to restructure the subprime lending industry. To restructure it in a way that it should be, in a way that it will benefit working people. And the way to do that is to say, if I've got problematic credit, if I have really credit issues, or if I am in financial distress, yes, I can go to a subprime lender and I can get a higher rate loan. And I'm going to work hard to pay that higher rate loan. And as I pay that on time, I'm going to get a better and better loan. And that's the way it should be. So the program that we are announcing together in partnership with the Associates is a program to do that. Where if I pay on time for 12 months, I'm going to be able to reduce the interest rate by 0.5%. If I pay on time for another 12 months, a customer is going to be able to reduce their interest rate by another 0.75%. Another 12 months by 1%. That means that for a typical customer, that customer is going to be able to save on a 10-year loan $25,000. And that means that this will save customers billions of dollars. But it's not a giveaway program for the customers or for the associates, because it's a business proposition that says, well, you work well, you stay as a customer, people feel good about staying as a customer, so it works well for both parties, both the consumers and for the associates. So it's really a fundamental restructuring of the subprime lending market. In addition to that, the associates has agreed to provide $100 million in the best mortgage product in America. That means that people can purchase or to refinance a home with no down payment, with no closing costs, with no fees, with no nothing, at the lowest interest rates in the country, less than 6%. And it's just a tremendous opportunity for working people to be able to stay in their homes in an affordable way, or to purchase a home when they don't have a lot of savings. So I can go on about the program, but it is exciting because there's no bigger, stronger, or more effective institution than the associates to change the subprime lending industry. And that sets the standard. The associates set the standard, and NACA sets the standard on the consumer side. So it is the correct partnership. So with that, QQs, and I want to say something about about QQs. We thought that today was going to be a very different kind of day, and we called up the associates on Friday afternoon. They asked to meet. Well, all day Saturday, from 11 o'clock in the morning to 1:30 at night, QQs was involved in all those discussions. And he worked with us, and he knows the industry very well. And through those 12 hours of ongoing discussions, we were able to say, here are two organizations that understand the industry and the consumers extraordinarily well, and how do you put that piece together? And he worked hand in glove to really make that a reality, and I want to thank him, and I want to congratulate him for getting this done. That's going to be the most historic change in the subprime industry for consumers in the history of that industry. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bruce. I think, as you can tell, Bruce has very strong hands. We have actually admired Naca and Bruce and his leadership, because being the largest lender, home equity lender in this country, has us covering an awful lot of markets, a lot of geography, and we've always been very proud, not perfect, but proud to be the organization that really has led, we think, one of the finest ways for consumers to borrow, and that is through a mortgage for purchase money purposes, or home equity loan that might involve debt consolidation. We are proud of this relationship. I frankly hope that it's something that will be the beginning of a number of programs we do with NACA. This is a great industry. It's an industry, I think, that requires leading organizations to do things that really relate back to customers, both economically and in every way possible. And we have prided ourselves for many, many years, now 81 years, as a company that really is close to its customers, a company that listens well to the marketplace, and a company that literally prides itself on working in partnership with organizations like NACA. So I must say, on behalf of the 37,000 employees of the associates, we're all proud of this relationship. We think it's the start of something that will be unfolding, I think, throughout many years. And we think it's a great idea, and we look forward, as we always do, to executing and doing the thing right. So Bruce, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Absolutely. we're doing is we're going in, and that they've set up, it's at the Crown Royal Hotel. We're going to get all these specifics. So anybody who has a city financial mortgage, they float in their counselors, their staff, and they're going to resolve those issues. Oh. So that's it. It's never been done. It's never been done. Because every time when you see these corporate meetings, you have the executives, you have the directors, you have the major stockholders inside, and all the protesters pushed away outside, so they never see them. They never see them. So what we did is we had 300 people buy one share, as you know, because a lot of U.S. stockholders own one share. That might be, the profit on that could be extraordinary. The capital gains on that are taxes. So only one share. But we did that, and it's driven them nuts because now we're on the inside. Now we are on the inside. So the question is, we got on the inside. Never happened before. And Citigroup is the largest financial entity in the world. Right. In the world. Right. So when we talk to their head of global consumer banking, I mean, it is global. I mean, it's not just every part of this country, it's every part of this world. So here we are. So we are inside the most important shareholders meeting in the world, because these guys are the biggest financial players in the world. And so we're going to have close to 300 people inside. So tomorrow everybody's going to have their shirts. We have enough shirts for everybody to wear. We're going in. We're going to be, and I'm going to go through this during the dinner this evening as well. We're going to go in. We're going to leave here at about 8 o'clock. We're there about business. Afterwards, we're going to have the city financial mortgage holders go to that meeting out there to have their issues resolved. Because this is an opportunity for us. The discipline that we're going to have as a group is key. Because that's going to send, that says, if you don't deal straight, we're going to be back in bigger numbers, meaner, more aggressive. So just by having us there, getting in, which has never happened before, is a huge piece of business. You know, as I look around, I'm seeing people who I haven't seen in a long time. It's really nice to see everybody. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Now, there might be people who are part of our group who want to take a different agenda. That can't be. Our strength is because that's why we have 30 offices. If it's as crazy as it is to have 30 offices administratively, our strength is so that we have such a broad breadth out there that we can pull people in, right? But our strength is also our discipline. So remember, no matter how much people is upset, say, oh, I want to raise this question, or I'm concerned about that, whatever that is, you pass notes. Pass them to me, pass them to Reverend Hagler, pass them to Pam, pass them to Perry, okay? Out there. That's how we're going to do it. And then we will make a determination about how to deal with it, okay? But we've got to be organized. We've got to be organized. Isn't the thing that people fear out there, people fear most, not people acting out on their own. They fear people organized and speaking with one voice. Even when, and we should have those internal debates here, but that's what people fear. Because if they see people, oh, I can peel off this person here or peel off that person there, well, then, then there's no strength in that. But if they deal with an organization that is disciplined, that's organized, and speaks with one voice, that's what scares the hell out of them. And that's what gets their attention. That doesn't mean we don't have the debates, the discussions, and all that, because that's part of what we do. We have that all the time. But once we're out there in public, once we're in this corporate meeting, we speak with one voice out there. We have already won. We've already won. Citigroup has agreed that they're going to meet with every person here who has a city mortgage, and they're going to resolve those issues. And we're going to make sure that not only are the people here who have a city mortgage scam, but that the people who are around the country also get the same attention. That's right.
We've come a long way in this fight. We've come a long way not because they saw NACA, but really we came a long way because they saw NACA and each one of you in all of the communities in which you live, and knew that you were, in a sense, going to rise up and come here to New York and be present at their annual meeting, and that's what makes the difference.
Okay, we just got out of the Citigroup annual meeting. It was a tremendous success. We had over 300 city financial borrowers inside and activists inside who were able to directly confront Sandy Weil, who were able to address their issues with Sandy Weil, the CEO of Citigroup, and they were able to voice their concerns in their emotions, and we have the commitment from Citigroup that they're going to address those issues and they're going to change some of their practices to move forward. So it's never happened before that over 300 people, instead of being on the outside looking in, they're on the inside looking out and dealing with the CEO of Citigroup to really show the emotion, to be able to work with Citigroup to deal with those issues.
On the day before Thanksgiving, November 21st at 12 p.m., consumer, African American, Latino, and Asian American groups held an anti-foreclosure protest against Countrywide Financial and its CEO, Angelo Mozillo. Approximately 100 protesters gathered for the public demonstration. It is estimated that Countrywide alone will foreclose on 5,000 homeowners in San Diego and at least 50,000 statewide before Christmas of 2008.
More and more homeowners are in danger of foreclosure. Some are so frustrated they held a protest today outside the offices of one of the major lenders. Fox 6's Eric Collins joins us live from the newsroom with all the details. Eric?
Save our home! Dozens of protesters rally outside the Countrywide Financial offices in Mission Valley. They're demanding the nation's largest mortgage lender do more to stop an alarming increase in foreclosures.
This right now is a economic disaster on a national scale.
Kim White is the chairman of the Mabuhay Alliance, a nonprofit group that organized this demonstration in order to pressure lenders to stop foreclosure proceedings on thousands of homes.
Angelo Mozillo is a thief! Led by the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation, dozens of protesters occupied the Jamaica Plain office of Countrywide Financial, which they describe as the nation's leading mortgage lender.
This is the first office we've gone to start the boycott. The first office. They got over 1,000 offices around the country. Obviously, the word is starting to get out, you know, without us even starting the boycott until today, because there are no customers.
Many here obtained adjustable mortgages, then ran into large interest increases and refinancing fees. They say the company knowingly put thousands of homeowners in unaffordable mortgages.
I worked part-time jobs, I found side jobs, all of that, and I found out that all of this money went towards my mortgage. Not talking about the taxes, not talking about the insurance, not talking about electricity, not talking about food when my kids was like, we're hungry.
I will tell you something. My stupidity is stupidity. People of such greed. Honest to God, I wasn't trying to be greedy or have more than I could afford. I had to fix my furnace. That's why I refinanced, and I have to tell you, I am stupid. Really stupid. No, I am. I'm stupid to corporate greed.
Countrywide has got to go. Hey, hey. They're demanding Countrywide save face and their homes by rewriting mortgages, and if they don't,
right-thinking people have to stand together and say we have to shut Countrywide down.
they left the Center Street office promising more protests around the country and making it clear they may be back. Jack Harper, News Center 5, Jamaica Plain.
Investment bank Bear Stearns was responsible for thousands of bad loans. NACA stormed its Manhattan offices, demanding reparations for homeowners.
Okay, so we're staying. Sure that they hear us. Let's spread out. And we're staying because the trying to represent homeowners, the bailout. Let's make ourselves loud. Let's make ourselves cool. Let's make ourselves heard. Let's spread out and enjoy
where money has been spent. This beautiful lobby. Now homeowners lobby. Now it's our lobby. Well, let's make it our lobby.
Andrew, thanks. From power problems to loud protests in Midtown at the headquarters of troubled investment bank Bear Stearns. Dozens of people stormed the company's lobby, angry about the government's plan to bail out the banking giant. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson, Midtown with more. Kimberly?
Oh, Diana, it was quite a scene, an invasion of sorts here at 47th and Park. Protesters were intent on placing the troubles that they're facing on main streets all over this country, putting them right in the faces of those here on this street. And that they did.
We have shown them that we're not afraid.
Like a simmering pot left on too long, things boiled over here at the global headquarters of Bear Stearns this afternoon, resulting in a takeover. More than 100 protesters occupying the lobby of the 47th Street offices.
Wall Street, not Wall Street.
Their issue, one that strikes a chord with many, the government's recent $30 billion bailout of Bear Stearns, which then allowed J.P. Morgan Chase to buy the investment bank. An action protesters say simply doesn't make sense.
It's an unprecedented giveaway of taxpayers' money. It's got to stop. This affects everybody, not just homeowners at risk of foreclosures, but taxpayers around this country saying, why should our hard-earned money be used to benefit and subsidies the people that created the mortgage crisis?
A crisis that's a reality to many of these people who themselves are homeowners at risk of foreclosure. The crowd then zeroed in on the corporate headquarters of J.P. Morgan Chase, demanding to meet with its CEO, Jamie Dimon. That didn't happen. What needs to happen, according to this group, the immediate implementation of what they call a homeowner stabilization initiative. The government would stop all interest rate increases, i.e. resets, implement rollbacks, impose a moratorium on all foreclosures, and require mortgage lenders to restructure loans at reduced interest rates.
It is these corporate entities that design the kinds of instruments built on a paradigm of greed that has placed this hardship on the economy and on homeowners.
Problem here, a lot of anger remains about the Bear Stearns bailout by J.P. Morgan and the Fed. Now, a group of homeowners in mortgage trouble actually managed to get into Bear Stearns headquarters right here in Manhattan. They're demanding a mortgage bailout for their problems, too. Melissa Lee is there. What are you seeing, Melissa? Hi there, Aaron. It certainly is a much different scene from even just a few moments ago. Just about 10 minutes ago, these streets were flooded with protesters wearing yellow T-shirts from the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. They were handing out these flyers saying, support Main Street, not Wall Street, essentially protesting the Federal Reserve-led bailout of Bear Stearns through the merger with J.P. Morgan. Now, of course, the protest culminating, as you had mentioned, with 200 protesters actually making it into the Bear Stearns lobby.
The aim was to go inside. We made it inside. Over 200 folks, we made it inside. We made sure that our message was heard. But what about the homeowners? What about the people that gave you this wealth? What about the people that allow you to continue to be a company? All these billions of dollars that are being given to you to bail you out, no one has mentioned the homeowners.
And Mr. Perez did mention that there were no arrests in this protest and also that there was no damage to any property of Bear Stearns. They simply wanted to get in the lobby to prove and make the comparison to the government stepping in and seizing homes from homeowners when they foreclosed. So that is the parallel. Now, after they were kicked out of the lobby, they spilled out onto the street, went around the corner to the front of J.P. Morgan where they did congregate for just about 15 or 20 minutes and then moved on. NACA, the group that sponsored this protest, is planning other protests. And of course, Aaron, as you had mentioned, this all comes with a lot of anger surrounding this merger between J.P. Morgan and Bear Stearns, the takeover, I should say. And this also comes just a couple of hours after two pension funds in Detroit filed papers in the Delaware Chancery Court to try and get an injunction to halt this merger between J.P. Morgan and Bear Stearns. So certainly, even though the deal appears to be done, there's a lot of emotion still around.
To New York City, the chant Main Street, not Wall Street. Angry homeowners today storming the Bear Stearns building in Manhattan. They're upset with the Fed's $30 billion bailout, they say that the money should be going to distressed homeowners instead. All right, with us now the man who organized the protest. I'm talking about Bruce Marks. He's the CEO of the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. So 200 people there, huh?
More than that. And
Really?
Neil, and these are homeowners. They came from D.C., from Florida, from Boston, from around the country because they're angry.
They're angry. Bear Stearns was bailed out, but they weren't.
Absolutely, but they're angry because they're losing their homes. And, you know, this is not because of life circumstances that they're losing their homes. Not because they lost their job, because they're working 2 or 3 jobs. They're losing their homes because no one can afford an interest rate of 10 or 12%.
But they signed those mortgages.
No, but the fact of the matter is they signed a mortgage that said that they could afford an interest rate of 5 or 6% or 7%. They never signed a mortgage saying they can afford a 12 or 14%.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. No, Bruce, they did. Now, I'm sympathetic to all your friends who were protesting today, but they signed on the dotted line and either refused to understand or didn't understand that adjustable rate mortgages can adjust up. And some of them, I guess, could argue that they were hoodwinked and forced and coerced, but we all make our own bed, right?
But the fact is, on the matter, Neil, we used to think that an adjustable rate mortgage would go up and may go down if the interest rates go down. These are strangulation arms.
No, Bruce, there are no guarantees.
No, but when the largest lenders in the country, the largest lenders say, don't worry, I understand it might go up in 2 years, but you have my word, you can refinance.
No, unless it's in writing. It's the biggest purchase most folks ever make in their lives. Now, you're free in this country to read that mortgage statement and paperwork. You're free not to. But we shouldn't be free in this country to bail out people who don't.
But,
right?
Neil, we used to have what we called community bankers. And the community banker says, boy, Bruce, you know, I know you want that $300,000 house, but you can only afford a $200,000 house.
Bruce, I'm not arguing with you that some didn't do that and that some kind of pushed them into these. But they allowed themselves to be pushed. No, they signed on to it. Now what you're telling me.
But Neil, even the most conservative players out there, whether it's the president of Toll Brothers or the brokers, said when someone came in, the homeowners were scammed. These are defective mortgage products.
No, Bruce,
they
you're
were
saying
structured
that everyone was scammed. You're saying, do you know that we're talking about 1 out of 5 of these subprime mortgages is running late, is running behind?
Absolutely.
And that 95% of all mortgages are not in any trouble. So to bail out these folks, you are saying to the other 95% who dutifully read their mortgages, dutifully paid their bills, pay up to help these who did not.
But Neil, then why is it that you've got President Bush, the conservative president, saying that the Bear Stearns, the investment bankers, that they're going to commit $30 billion to bail out Bear Stearns and to subsidize J.P. Morgan?
Here's where I agree with you, my friend. I'm against that bailout. I'm against, trying to help a company that got itself into doo-doo. Let it go. Let free markets thrive. It hurts companies. It hurts individuals. But there are no guarantees. I've bought lousy cars that got snookered on payments in the past. But I can't go back to the government and say, Neil, hey, that Skyhawk you got me is a piece of you-know-what.
But you can, because if you buy a car and exactly 2 years from the day that you bought that car, the wheels fall.
If it's a lemon. But the house isn't a lemon.
But yes, these mortgages were structured to fail.
No.
Yes,
no,
come on, Neil.
No. Bruce, I love you dearly, and you're a good and decent guy. But here's what you expect out of the government. That when we make mistakes and we screw up, we go back then to the government and say, protect me from my own stupidity. No. Bail me out.
But Neil, we have what's called, as you know, implied warranty. That if I get a product, I purchase a product, it is going to function the way that it was intended to function. But this was not about home ownership.
It's doing what it does. It's telling you on a piece of paper. It's usually the 4th page of an adjustable rate note. And you look at it, it says, here is what this rate is pegged to and how far it could go up. And it will tell you in writing clearly, it could go up in this case to 14%.
But Neil,
now wait a minute. You have to then decide, can I pay or not? Now, the lender might be, go ahead, sign it. It is up to you to say, whoa, 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 page 4.
But
this
Neil,
could go up.
We had a discussion before, and we found out that you're the only person in America who's read all the closing docs at the closing. But the fact of the matter is, no one reads all those closing docs. And the fact of the matter,
they should have lawyers who do.
They can't, because you don't get it until the closing. You don't get it to the closing.
I'm not trying to be a hard ass here. All I'm just trying to say is, it is a slippery slope. I agree with you. Bear Stearns should not have been rescued. I don't care about the financial risks and everything else that you don't care about.
Right.
I am saying, though, it is dangerous then when you all of a sudden bail everyone out who gets in trouble, because soon there's no money left.
No, but the fact of the matter, the solution that we're saying costs not one penny of taxpayer dollar. All that we're saying is the people who have created the crisis, who've profited from the crisis, need to fix it. So, Neil, let me even say this one thing. So if you look at the solution and you say, let's stop the resets, because no one can afford the 12 or 14% interest rates. Let's roll back some of those high rates to the initial rate that people were qualified for. Third, a moratorium on foreclosures until the servicer and the investor have tried to work with the homeowner.
Bruce,
that's what they do.
I'm all for working with the lender, trying to come out of this and see if they can find an arrangement to help. But I am not for all of a sudden redoing deals, because a lot of people then didn't look at the deal they had. And I want you to think about two neighbors, okay? One neighbor in one house who got a mortgage, didn't get in over his head, got what he afforded, understood the terms of the deal, and now he is being asked to essentially bail out or help the neighbor who did not. But now that is 9 out of 10 neighbors, and now you're setting a precedent for the less than 1 out of 10, actually half out of 10 who are not in that situation. We are now saying bail their ass out.
Neil, for the one thing, there's two answers to that. One thing is the neighbor that didn't get that type of mortgage has to go to their family members, to their friends, and to their co-workers and say, are you at risk of foreclosure? Because people closest to them are about to lose their home, but they blame themselves, so they're just going to.
I don't care who they blame.
But the fact of the matter, but this is a
play the victim.
But this is
you
a
are a wonderful man, Bruce.
But this is a win.
Play the victim.
This is a win-win. Neil, this is a win-win. If you restructure a loan to make it affordable for the homeowner, everybody wins.
Fine.
The homeowner wins. The community.
Doing something. Bruce, I'm telling you.
Without $1 taxpayer money, Neil.
Bruce, if I get fat, it's not a thyroid issue. It's a lot of Napoleons. My fault. So
but you look better in person than even on TV.
I'm telling you, we set a slippery slope when we make ourselves a nation of victims, and then we want it turned around to make it right. Now, I'm all for voluntarily doing what you said. Lenders and those who signed on to the package try to work things out. It is not the government's responsibility. It is not taxpayers' responsibility to do that.
And I agree, it's not the taxpayer's responsibility.
Oh, so we're okay.
I'm saying, but the regulators who are asleep at the switch, they need to force the restructuring of these mortgages.
But we agree on this intrinsic point, and so we can hug.
We can hug.
Okay, very good. Mia Farrow is next. I'll leave it at that.
So what do you think of what's going on here?
I think it's a great thing what we're doing here, because obviously a lot of people are losing their homes. I work for NACA, and every day I see hundreds of people coming through our office with problems with the mortgages. And out of those hundreds, maybe 60% of them are there because the lenders will not work with them. As I spoke to my lender, they won't work with me. They want me to be 60, 90, 120 days late before they can speak to me. And it shouldn't be the case. If somebody's coming to you for help and they know they're going to be in trouble, they should be helped. They shouldn't have to be 120 days late, six months behind, because now they're late on the mortgage and the credit is ruined.
I got you. Cool. Go ahead. Keep doing your thing.
Okay, so we're almost there. So they got all kinds of police going. So we're gonna wait for people to get here, and then we're going in as a group.
Okay, everybody, come on, we're going. Yeah. Come on, we're just going. Hey, we're fine. Wait. Everybody, come on. Come on, everybody, we're going. Back up. Come on, everybody, we're going. Come on, everybody. everybody, let's go. We are NACA.
We are NACA.
Mighty, mighty NACA.
The mighty, mighty NACA.
Come on, Perry.
We are NACA.
Mighty NACA.
The mighty, mighty NACA. The mighty, mighty NACA. We are NACA. We are NACA.
Mighty,
The mighty, mighty NACA.
Okay, everybody, let's go see John Mack. Let's go see John Mack. Come on, everybody.
You want to wake the bunch up?
What? We are NACA. Get everybody coming. Yeah. Close it up. Okay. Okay, slow it down. Everybody, okay, everybody, come on. Come on. Come on, who are we? NACA! Why are we here? Gonna stop these guys. This is John Mack's house. Yeah! Boo! Okay, everybody, come on.
Yes.
Okay, they didn't stop us, right? They had the security. Is Perry, we're going to lead the line. We're going to do a picket line around his house, okay? Yeah! So are we ready to do it? Okay, let's go. Yeah, around the house.
I want y'all to line up, and I want to stop y'all all around the house. Everywhere we go! We are NACA! We are NACA! The mighty, mighty NACA!
What's your fucking name, huh? Bruce Marks. My fucking name.
Everywhere we go! Everywhere we go!
Perry, go that way. Perry, go.
Get the property!
Braca.
Get off the property!
Keep on going, Perry. Take the line. Take the line.
Over here right away.
Keep the line. Keep the line going. Keep the line going.
I'll fucking lay you right out.
Keep going. Keep going.
Get him over here right away. Let's go. Let's go. No, let's go.
Come on. We are NACA.
We are NACA.
NACA. There we go.
Everywhere we go.
Who we are? Oh, we tell them. Hey, back out. We made a huge impact, so what we want to do is we want to do a picket line around all of his properties. We're going to do that, and then we got to go to the next target, okay? Okay, everybody, thank you. So if everybody can follow me down here, okay? Okay. Come on.
We are NACA. We are NACA. Mighty, mighty NACA. Mighty, mighty NACA. We're NACA. We're NACA. We're mighty. We're mighty. We're mighty. We're mighty. We're NACA.
Don't we have? Okay. What I want to do is I want to go.
Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. People want to know. People want to know.
Goes up to the golf course.
Okay, yeah. Mac, save our home. John Mack, save our homes. And then we're Mac, save our homes. John Mack, save our homes. Save our homes. John Mack, save our homes. John Mack, save our homes. Mack, save our homes. John 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 Mack, save our homes. Pretty impressive. John Mack, save our homes. John Mack, save our homes. John Mack, save our homes. 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 Save our homes.
I want to move out here.
What's that?
Do you know whose house that is?
Oh, that's the that is Country Club house. That's for the
Somebody give me the mortgage application. I'm moving out here right now. With a 3% rate. We need that state loan. We need that state loan, man. Somebody give me a mortgage
1%, not 3.
How about a principal reduction? I need the 1%. I just need the 1%.
Save our home. 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 Save our home.
Hey, what's your name? John what?
Mac. John Mac. Okay, start up again.
John Mac. Well, we love Mac. He putting people out every day.
Everybody, the police, they have a job to do. They're not the problem. They're not the problem. They have a job to do. They've been very professional, and they got mortgages that they can't afford either. So you know, to do that. So they're not the issue. So you know, we certainly show the respect for them, and we really appreciate their professionalism. So I just want everybody. Thank you. Absolutely. Everybody, look, this never happens. This never happens when we can go onto their property, bring our families to their family.
All right.
And they think that they can have a house that is as mansion as that. Look, we thought they used to live in the one down there, but that's the servants' quarters. That's the house where they live there. And in that house, outside, they got a tennis court, they got a pool, heated pool. That's our pool, right? Because we funded that pool.
That one don't work.
It's them. Right. They're causing financial violence on us.
That's right. Yeah.
And so we're here to say to them, and remember, this is only the first step in the accountability campaign.
Right.
The first step.
Right.
And this is the first step is the predators tour.
Right.
So it's important that we see where the predators live.
Everybody? Hey, everybody, welcome. Good to see everybody. Woo! Okay, what we're gonna do is I want to give some background. So is everybody able to hear me? Yeah. Okay. So everybody, I want to give some background on why Fannie Mae is so important. Because you don't see, when you make your mortgage payments, you don't see Fannie Mae on your statement, right? No. You see Countrywide, you see Wells, you see Saxon, Bank of America, HSBC, WAMU, you see all those entities. You don't see Fannie Mae, right? But what's happening behind the scenes is that Fannie Mae is rejecting the solutions that we're submitting. So behind the scenes, so when you call us up and you say, I haven't gotten my solution yet, there's a reason for that. And that's because Fannie Mae, which sets the standard for this country, has said no. Because what's their standard? The Fannie Mae standard is you have to be 4 months late on your mortgage before they'll consider restructuring the mortgage. The Fannie Mae standard is that they'll never reduce the interest rate permanently less than the market rate, which is over 7%. The Fannie Mae standard says that they'll never reduce the principal to make the mortgage affordable. So the Fannie Mae standard is to push you into foreclosure. But they say one thing: we'll give you another loan. We'll give you another loan that after 6 months you have to start paying back. They're not willing to make the initial loan affordable. That's why we're here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Fannie Mae, we're going to march there, and we're going to symbolize the fact that they're foreclosing on us. So what you're going to see is you're going to see there are 4 trucks out front. And in those trucks, there's furniture. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Fannie in front, and then we have 4 groups, and we're going to need people to help us take the furniture out of the trucks, and we want to line the furniture up on the sidewalks. Because while we tried to bring a house here and to prop a house on the front yard of Fannie Mae, we couldn't get it off the foundation. But we tried. Okay. Absolutely. Because it's important that they understand what the consequences of what they do, right?
Right.
And so we got to do it. That's why, while we couldn't bring the house, we could bring the furniture. And obviously, everybody here is a homeowner at risk of foreclosure. So that's what we want to do. Our issue is not with the police or the security people. Our issue is with Fannie Mae. So that's what we want to do. So we want to go there. We're going to march up there. We're going to go up here, and we're going to march there. We got the megaphones. We have that. We want to make sure they hear us. We want to go into the vehicles, take the furniture out. It's a lot of furniture. So we need some people to help us carry that out and to line the sidewalks up and down, okay? You got to give a little bit of space for people to walk there, okay? So, and then, you know, we're going to be there. We're going to be there for a period of time, okay? Because we want to make sure they understand the presence. Obviously, they're panicked because they got a lot of security there on that. So before I start, let me turn it over to our spiritual leader, who will say a few words and a prayer for us. And that is our good friend, Reverend Graylin Hagler. Yes, I did remember your name. Graylin?
First of all, let's give a shout out for NACA. And I give a shout out for Bruce Marks, who never gives up, and he is really a junkyard dog. He never turns it loose. And we're thankful to have someone like this at the head of the organization, the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, because he dreams this stuff. He actually wakes up to this stuff. He goes to sleep to this stuff, and he's ready to fight whoever needs to be fought. And that's why I stand right here alongside him. And I'm thankful that you stand here together, all of us with one another. Because one of the things is we know, we've seen it, when Congress talks about big money to bail folk out, somehow they didn't really talk about us. They talked about Fannie Mae, they talked about the banks, they talked about thawing out the credit markets. They didn't talk about you being able to stay in your homes. They didn't talk about that. Well, we're here to talk about that. We're here to make that demand known. We're here to show the public that this really deals with families and neighborhoods and communities. And we got news for them. We're determined to make a difference. We're determined to stay in our homes and to stay in our neighborhoods. And we're not accepting any excuses from anybody, including Fannie Mae.
We have asked for a meeting with Herb Allison. He's the CEO of Fannie Mae, and he's here. He's here. Come on. Come on. He's here. So we want her, the head of Fannie Mae, meet with us.
Come on. We want her. 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 They're so afraid of you that they got all of this security here to make sure you don't get in to meet with them.
Okay, everybody, what we're going to do on the way going back, because it's a great victory, we're gonna do a drive-by by William Fry. This is the guy that is suing Bank of America. So what we want to do, because we can't park on that street because it's a main street, that we're going to do a drive-by and make sure that he understands the message that says we know where he lives, and that, you know, we're going to stop him from stopping the foreclosures, because what he's doing is he runs a hedge fund. And that hedge fund, and what he has done is he has sued Bank of America to stop them from modifying mortgages on that. So, you know, he does not, so he's more interested in making even more money than what he's got than in helping people restructure those mortgages to make them affordable.
What we want to do is we want to see the house first, right? Shouldn't we go on a tour of the house? Yeah! On there, so let's just do a little tour because we want to send that message out, okay? So let's see what it looks like in the back. Yeah, let's go, let's go. That we all have in terms of their mortgages, right? Yeah! So, look, it's important that we're here. Obviously, he knew we were coming, so he fled. He ran. But it's important because we want to bring, on this Sunday, we want to bring our families to his house. Because Bill Fry, this guy, he's suing Bank of America. He's suing Bank of America for making the mortgages affordable. He runs a hedge fund that says, I need more money. Well, you look at this house, and you go in the back, he's got, you know, all kinds of other houses. It's unbelievable. So the fact of the matter is, and the lenders say they don't want to modify loans because they're afraid of being sued by Bill Fry. Well, we say, Bill Fry needs to be afraid that people know where he lives.
So we can save our home. Fix our home. So we can save our home. Fix our home. So we can save our home. Shut them down.
So everybody, there is no peace. There is no peace. So look, no house, no peace. So house, no peace. So we're going back to the Save the Dream event. Yeah. And they have gotten the message.
Well, I think we got to stand up for something. We got to stand up for something and show them. You know, Martin Luther King would have stood up for something. Jesus stood up for something. We got to stand up for something.
Okay, Naca. Okay, very good. Okay, gang, so it's good to see everybody. I mean, we have a big group here. We're in the middle of Wall Street here. Chase is right around the corner so that we can, you know, be in the belly of the beast. And as we speak, President Obama, he's now speaking with the heads of all these lenders, okay?
Today!
Street, okay? So everybody, great job. We are NACA! We are NACA! The mighty, mighty NACA! The mighty, mighty NACA! Everybody, so as we speak, President Obama is meeting with Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase. He's meeting with all of the CEOs of the major financial institutions. And he's saying that Wall Street doesn't get it, that Chase doesn't get it, that none of the banks get it. And here we are at Wall Street, right? Here we are. So what we need to do is we need to show our presence, which we've done. We've done that at Chase. Now we need to do that to Wall Street, right? Yeah. We are NACA! We are NACA! Mighty, mighty NACA!
Meanwhile, in New York, hundreds of protesters marched on the offices of the banking giant JP Morgan Chase to demand better treatment of customers facing foreclosure. Darren Duarte of the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, known as NACA, said Chase's policies are throwing homeowners out onto the streets.
It's Christmas time, people are being thrown out in the streets, and I think bankers could do more. The president is talking a lot about it, but he's not requiring them or taking action. We wanted to take action today.
The protest was held as part of NACA's Save the Dream tour to pressure banks to restructure mortgages. The group says over 350,000 people have taken part in 11 cities nationwide.
Here we go. Here we go, NACA.
And when the nation's newest financial regulator refused to investigate homeowners' claims of wrongful acts,
We're going to camp out, right?
NACA shut the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau down. They stormed the federal building wearing signs that displayed names of people losing their homes. Boxes full of individual cases were also brought in.
People losing their homes? What is this? This is crazy. This is America. This is supposed to be the home of the free. It's not. It's not. It's not fair. Please, somebody step up. Make someone accountable for these charges.
NACA occupied the place inside and out until CFPB agreed to accept and investigate the more than 65,000 claims NACA submitted.
Director Cordray is not available right now, but I'm happy to take your request. We will try to do our best to get a meeting with you.
Well, we can stay here. I mean, we can wait. Let's see what his timing is, because we got homeowners here, we got people here. You know, we got a lot of people here, so we can wait to see what his schedule is, to see whether it's important enough that he deals with the actual homeowners.
People want their home. Do something. People want their home. Do something.
People stood shoulder to shoulder in the jam-packed lobby of CFPB, waiting to meet with Director Richard Cordray. Cordray has put regulations in place that take effect next year. That gives lenders plenty of time to foreclose on these homeowners this year.
These homeowners are losing their homes. You are responsible for that, and you're doing absolutely nothing. There's not one thing you've done to hold these banks accountable. Not one thing. And you put these regs in place in 2014, and by then they would have done all their dirty work and foreclosed on everybody by then.
Protesters who couldn't fit inside looped around the block. They demanded action against lenders who wrongfully foreclosed.
It was very moving, and hopefully we'll get some positive change.
Police finally rushed in to try and end the peaceful demonstration.
No, I have to advise you. It's assault on a police officer. It's a felony. Okay? I just want to make that very clear.
I've been here before.
But after 40 minutes, CFPB agreed to meet. NACA now waits to see if the consumer watchdog will live up to its true name.
They said they have operational issues, that we submit so many files that they want to work with us on that. They're going to review all the files. You know, it is really disappointing that it took this to get their attention.
You can be sure NACA will do more nonviolent actions to make sure homeowners are protected.